Hello everybody and welcome to another top 5 records video. Today I've got the difficult task of selecting the 5 best albums from 1966. And I'll be quite frank with you from the beginning on. This year has so many good records. I might just do another video of this with alternative picks. Nevertheless, even leaving all the other titles aside and the potential of those, if I had to pick 5, just gun to my head, the 5 best albums from 1966, I am positive that I'm gonna go for these. On the number 5 spot, Sinatra At The Sands, a Frank Sinatra album, but, and that's the interesting thing, it is with the Count Basie Orchestra, and it's arranged and conducted by Quincy Jones. Now, if these 3 names combined do not convince you yet to buy this record, let me tell you the following. This is, in my opinion, the ultimate Frank Sinatra album. And I love the work of Frank Sinatra. Why is this the ultimate? Because this recording at the Sands, you hear the charm, the wit, and the entertainment value of attending a Sinatra show. This man talks to the audience. He has some sketches, some dialogues in between. And normally I'm not too fond of that. But you hear, this man knows his audience. He knows the people around there. And this is the ultimate experience of being in a bar or a lounge or a place where an intimate performance is being held, but with a big grandeur. About the grandeur, what you hear on this record, sung by Sinatra on top of his arts, done with, Quincy Jones and Count Basie. Both some of the biggest, best, and most important musicians working in jazz. What you got is this record opens with "Come Fly With Me." I've got you under my skin. Fly me to the moon. You make me feel so young. All of me. September of my years. It was a very good year. Making Whoopee. I actually like Making Whoopee. I think it's a fun song. God, this is good. This is an ultimate experience. Now some people say don't include live albums. Well, live albums can contain the essence of an artist. Like Live at Leeds does for The Who, Made in Japan for Deep Purple. If you want to find out about Deep Purple, they have good studio albums. Same counts for The Who. But their essence is captured on those kind of live records. And the same can be said for Frank Sinatra. Well, I can talk about other great albums. And you'll see other studio albums of his in my lists. Because the man is great. But this is the essence of Frank Sinatra. Awesome. Now, on number 4 spot. I really love this one as well. Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. Why Sounds of Silence? I think it is the best Simon and Garfunkel record. First of all, the version of Sound of Silence which is on here, it's staggering. It's awesome. I think that song, it has such an immense power. And there are so many more great songs on here. Homeward Bound, A Most Peculiar Man, April Come She Will, We've Got a Groovy Thing Going, I Am a Rock. And it sounds so good. I used to have only a Dutch pressing of it, and it was okay. And then I found this copy in London for about, I believe, £3 or £4. A first British pressing for £3 or £4. It's so easy to come by, and it sounds incredible. It's not just a folk duo doing some nice, lovely songs. There is an audio quality to them. There is a conviction, and there are tunes. Paul Simon is a writer. He is one of the great, brilliant minds of the last century. Now, on number 3 spot, the Beatles Revolver. The Beatles Revolver. there is this battle going on between Beatles fans. You're either a Revolver guy or a Rubber Soul guy. Any kind of battle, bullshit. Bullshit whatsoever, because music is there to enjoy, and I wouldn't be able to pick between the two of them if you put a gun to my head. This record opens with Taxman. After that you get Eleanor Rigby. Here, There and Everywhere is on this album. Here, There and Everywhere. It's one of those beautiful, beautiful gems. It has Yellow Submarine. Yeah, it does have Yellow Submarine. Good Day Sunshine. Dr. Robert, I really like Dr. Robert. It's a fun song. Gotta Get You Into My Life. Gotta Get You Into My Life. Such a great album. Such a great song. Besides the great songs, so many great good songs, this album also has a unique sound. The Beatles kept developing themselves, and they were in a battle with some American band and or American artists actually, and I'll get to talk about the other artists who were challenging the Beatles to move further, and the Beatles actually challenged them to move further. And that brings me to the number 2 spot of this list, which is one of those artists who was challenged by the Beatles and who challenged the Beatles and who made one of the ultimate works, Blonde on Blonde. I should hold it like this, but somehow I just want to hold it like this. Yeah. Blonde on Blonde by Bob Dylan. This is an amazing album. This is of such an intense quality. There are so many great, good songs in here. Dylan was out there to capture something else, something unique, and he threw away a lot of previous recordings. He just kept trying to find the right sound. Now, everybody always talks about Bob Dylan as a great songwriter, and he is. Needless to say, he is. But he was challenging the way folk sounds, the way rock sounds, the way blues rock sounds. And this album, I can't really, it's far from country, but you hear there's a flirt in Nashville. It was partially recorded in Nashville. You hear this man is flirting here. And what I found most interesting, perhaps you can see it, this is a UK mono original. Now, why do I point that out? I used to listen to the stereo version of this album, and I fell in love with the stereo version. So the stereo version is not terrible. But there is a lot of space, a lot of reverb to his sound, which makes him sound kind of nasal and kind of, like he's not sincere. The mono version is actually the mix, and the British mono mix is supposed to be the best of those, because there were 3 different mixes. One went to Canada, one went to the US, and the combination of the two, who has the best of those, that one went to the UK. But the sound of his voice on this mix is sincere. His sound is full. When he sings Visions of Johanna, this is a true, sincere man. There is no cynicism on this record. The stereo pressing makes it sound like Dylan is cynical. So whatever you do, buy a mono pressing of this. There are good mono reissues of this album. Find a mono one, really, really good mono. This is the best pressing around, but there are really some good mono versions. I have one of those, and you buy it, love it. Now, I've got an album which, although the artist says you have to listen to it in mono, I prefer the stereo pressing on the number 1 spot. It's Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, and Pet Sounds is an it's one of the great grand masterpieces of the last century, which, by the way, same can be said for all the records on this list. But Brian Wilson was in this challenging match between with for example with Paul McCartney, and I believe he listened to Rubber Soul and thought, I have to go beyond everything that's possible, and then he made the best work he ever did. Yeah. This is, in my opinion, even better than the Smile Sessions or Smile or Smiley Smile. There are so many great songs on here, and it sounds so brilliant, it sounds so good. God only knows. I know there's an answer. Here today, I just wasn't made for these times. It's such a sensitive song. It has such sensitive lyrics. Caroline, no. Wouldn't it be nice? Don't Put Your Head on My Shoulder. It is such a sensitive album. If you listen closely, you hear somebody losing it and longing for intimacy, longing for something sincere, something fragile. This is a man who's stuck in the moment, and it has rarely been recorded how beautiful that can sound. Bad Sounds. And as I said, this is the Analog Productions 45 RPM stereo one. Although Brian Wilson prefers the mono one, I have the mono one as well. But the mono sound, the master is heavily equalized. There's been a lot of equalizing on the original mono master, and I believe Kevin Gray and Steve Huffman. But I'm not really sure who did this. At least Kevin Gray. They took all the original tracks and put it. They put the mix together with the unequalized tracks, so the stereo pressing sounds exactly or a lot like the original stereo one, but without all the equalizing. So this is the best and most fullest sounding version of this album ever. And trust me, I've compared it to an original one, to loads of other pressings. This is the one to own. It's a beautiful, beautiful pressing, and a #1 spot in the best albums of 1966. Now, please leave a comment below, tell me what you think, and I know loads of albums are missing, but please tell me which do. See you in the next video.